next up, we're going to go into the scenarios for these conference games. Who needs to win to get in, and who needs to, what every team needs to do. Let's start off with the SEC. Everybody loves the SEC. Those numbers, those percentages up there, guys, are the chances of them winning the SEC championship, winning their conference. Georgia has a 48.3% chance. They do not have to play an SEC opponent to end the year, so they are in. Texas, on the other hand, and A&M are playing each other. So at this point, the reason those numbers are the way they are is because they both have to win this first game against each other. One of them will have to win, obviously. The winner then plays Georgia, and that's how they base these numbers. I'm actually surprised that Texas is so high at 45.2%. I expect Georgia actually be in like the 50s.
Yeah,
and Texas to be in like the 30s.
Yeah. ESPN matchup predictor has Texas as 77.2%.
Right.
A&M 22.8% for this weekend. So I thought Georgia would be higher. I don't really understand Texas likely being favored in that game, because that's essentially what this is saying.
Yes.
Against Georgia, which is weird to me because the championship's in Atlanta too.
And it was a 15-point loss originally. But it's very hard to win twice. And me and Cam talked about this because I actually, on my first playoff prediction, had Georgia beating Texas 3 times.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Texas has by far had the worst strength of schedule in the whole SEC.
Yeah.
Kind of had a cakewalk compared to these other teams that have been playing much tougher games. And as you can see, they're finally going to play a team in Texas A&M who has been one of the top at least 5 teams in the SEC consistently throughout the year. I think South Carolina could beat them right now.
They already did.
Well, I meant like at this moment, but
they can.
They can.
To be clear.
I don't think Alabama can right now. Ole Miss might be able to. Georgia probably, and then Texas. I did pick Texas outright, so I'm on that side. But I think that the SEC is pretty straight. Obviously, is straightforward. Yeah. There's a few conferences that are straightforward, and then there's one that is just a complete shit show, to say the least. So
again, the biggest winner here of the A&M Texas game is Tennessee. They do not have to worry.
Completely agree with that. Let me go on to the next. We have the ACC championship. As you can see, once again, disrespect going towards the SMU Mustangs.
Yep.
They are in. They have secured their spot. Miami could lose to Syracuse, and they've got a 47.9% chance this week. They're at Syracuse, which is up there in New York. It's cold.
Oh, yeah.
It's cold up there. From going from Miami to New York in late November, it is going to be very different than. I think it's an indoor stadium, though, isn't it?
Damn it! To say, you do realize they're in a dome, right?
Okay. Hey, open it.
Open it. Wait for you to figure that out.
Shit. No, they need to open it for real, because that changes everything when you take a Miami Hurricanes team from the most tropical place in the country and send them to New York, where it's freezing right now.
Well, it's one of those like soft domes. I don't think it has the retractable for anything.
Damn it.
Maybe get some students up there to poke some holes.
Yeah.
Call it good.
We'll just say that they overwatered the field or something, and we'll play down the street.
There you go.
At the high school or something.
Perfect.
But yeah, I still think that that's a close game either way, though.
Yeah.
And then they of course, have to beat SMU, which I think SMU has been proven to be the better team at this point. So
I will take SMU over Miami head-to-head.
And we will. Don't you worry, because we'll talk about it after they win Syracuse. And if they lose to Syracuse, we have Clemson, who is in with a Miami loss. They are actually playing South Carolina, who is in the SEC.
They're in the same boat as Georgia.
Done.
Got a game this week, but even if they lose, their conference championship standing does not change.
Right. And that game is not in a dome.
No.
So,
no.
But not as cold. Unfortunately, Syracuse did not use I would expect a team like Syracuse to be like Buffalo, the Bills, and be like, no, we're playing outside in the snow. It's going to be crazy. That Cleveland Pittsburgh game on Thursday night the other day.
Where do the Giants play?
MetLife.
Well, they're not fielding a team, so Syracuse could maybe use their field.
Saying that'd be great
at this point.
Hey, we're going to MetLife instead. That would be awesome.
Giants have no business being out there, so
yeah, fair enough.
Seems open to me.
Neither the Jets either. Don't forget about that.
That's true. Yeah, either way,
green or blue.
Yeah.
Going on to the Big Ten Conference Championship. So as I said, and the analytics also completely agree with me that Ohio State's the best team in the nation.
Yeah.
31.1% chance for Oregon to win the conference. They are in, as you can see by the check mark. They do not have to win the next game, but they most likely will. But Ohio State's going to beat Michigan and then also beat Oregon at a neutral site
Yes.
in the Big Ten championship, in our personal opinion. And I put the other two teams that actually have a chance of making it. Obviously,
I thought it was funny to include the whole ifs.
yeah.
Win and this and this.
Right. Penn State's in with a loss by Ohio State and a win.
Yep.
Because Ohio State would have 2 conference losses.
Mm-hmm.
And then Indiana gets the last bid if they basically both teams above them have to lose and they have to win. And that's how they're in. So,
and that's just not happening. So
I don't see a way. So,
but again, if they win, they should get an at-large bid.
Yeah, I agree, because they are a one-loss team.
Yeah.
And the only team they've lost to is the number 1 team in the nation after the Big Ten championship.
Yeah.
So, and they're playing Purdue this week. I don't see them losing that game.
No.
So let's go on to the one. Oh, I left Big Ten up there. I'm changing it. You go ahead and talk.
So this one is where it gets really fun. The top of it is easy. Arizona State and Iowa State are both win and get in.
Yes.
That's it. BYU gets in if they win and Iowa State loses.
Right.
Colorado gets in if they win and 2 of the 2 teams I just mentioned lose. Doesn't matter which 2. Just need 2 of them and then they get that spot.
10.6% chance for that. That's high in my personal opinion.
I don't understand that, but
go on though.
Well, I don't know how analytics pulled that off. And then Kansas State needs to win. And then
the whole thing.
So I put that, but that was only like a quarter of what happened.
I put the main stuff.
They need Kansas to win over Baylor to help, because then the next it goes down to opponent conference conference opponent win percentage.
Win percentage, yeah.
But the problem is every other game that we've already listed, and then B of the other teams, because there's 4 other teams tied with 3 losses too, that are all basically in the same boat as Kansas State. We didn't include them because their odds are less than like 0.5%.
Yeah. And so basically
they're
Kansas
all doing it against each other.
Yeah. Kansas State has the best chance of the teams that have to have these situations work out. So we put them on here because they have the best odds of 1.8%, which is actually better than Indiana. Just saying.
I don't understand how Kansas. Did the analytics just decide we don't care about the Big 12 and we're just not going to actually do the
analytics for that? I see.
There's no way. Kansas State needs like 7 games to go their way. And there's no way you go, you know what? That's 2% chance.
Just don't forget, they also have to win.
Right.
They have to win because they're playing Iowa State first. Like Iowa State has to beat Kansas State to get in, which will most likely not happen.
Yeah.
I think Kansas State actually wins that game. But then, not only that, all those other things have to happen after that. And then they have to win the Big 12 championship.
I mean, my favorite part of all of this is that teams like West Virginia can win the conference.
That's amazing.
Do not ask me the 1,000 things that need to happen and point differentials that have to happen to do it. But there is some
give me Garrett Green
mathematical strategy where they actually make the conference championship at 6-5
wow
season and 5-3 in conference.
That's amazing. Give me Wyatt Milam. I don't know if you know who that is, but that's the guy I want from West Virginia. He's their left tackle. Dude's a freaking mountain.
6'6", 317.
He's a mountain.
That's a large human.
He's a mountain. Yeah, he lives in the he lives in that's exactly what. Yeah, he was built by the Abs.
There you go.
But yeah, so Big 12 is a complete shit show, and it's very fun to talk about. It will all sort itself out when Arizona State wins and BYU gets in because they win their game this week. So I would expect that to happen at least.